What you know about that love game?
What I know about that love game? Hey man, I used to be a player a long time ago. But you know what, man? Every time I meet a woman, I think about my mother, and I treat women with the same respect that I know if my mom was standing there watching. That's how she would want me to treat women. Now, I have run into women that don't deserve that respect, and at that point, I just walk away. But I feel like we're in a new generation. I kind of feel like I live by traditional rules, and that's one of the things that scares me about, especially with me having kids and having a daughter, that a lot of the traditional ways of men and women are going out the window. And the only thing I could do is just set those same morals and values into my children and hope other people are doing the same thing so that my daughter grows up and has a fine husband, and that, you know, my son marries a great woman.
My name is Ron Deuce. I'm a rap artist. Really, I'm not a player. I just crush a lot. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm Duran, and I'm actually married. So I was fortunate enough to find the love of my life really early. But I do understand that it's hard out here. It's even hard for me because you have social media pretty much like gravitating, and it's so much temptation out there. So like I gotta stay locked in with my lady. We gotta communicate every day. Like I have to be honest with her. You know what I mean? So.
Of course, what you know about the love game?
I know that the love game is complicated, and you have to be honest and really get to know your partner, because everybody is so different nowadays. Everybody has different rules to it. So yeah, you really have to talk to your partner and know them.
And what do you feel today's problem today's relationships are?
Lack of communication, and people are not honest, and people don't know how to accept honesty and respond to that appropriately.
For me, love is, I think it's organic. I don't think it's something you can force. I don't think it's something you should go out searching for. It's just real when it's there. Some last forever, some don't.
Anyways, so I want to know what your ideation of dating today is, or talking, because I've heard that thrown around as well too. And if there's a difference to you, who wants
There's a difference between dating and talking.
Okay.
The difference between talking, he ain't taking you out. Y'all just texting. Y'all bumping and grinding when you feel like it. Whatever the case may be. Y'all may grab something to eat, watch a movie here and there. Dating, if you really like this guy, you're gonna hold off for a bit. You're gonna see what he's about. Has to take you out. Maybe you gotta even meet his family first before you give him some. Lord knows I learned that. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I learned that now. And maybe, yeah, that's dating, I think. To really get to know the person and know each other before you do all the mushy stuff. Because, like, you might not really like him. You might really like him. But then you might really like him, and then you get something and you don't like it. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. So far, that's my personal opinion.
I'm actually divorced. So, I'm coming from that aspect of it, of being with somebody for years and years and years. And then when things change, what do you do? Do you continue to play, or do you, what do you do? How do you weigh your options? And so, like I said, it's a game.
Why you made me laugh? Start off with laughing, make laugh like I'm not being serious. Okay, I think honestly, to be 100% real, what I consider a relationship is something that'll last at least a year. I don't believe in talking either, because it's just a felonious word that lets you get an escape route. Well, we was just talking so I can just, put my mouth on every dick and not, We were just talking so, I ain't got to give you a gift ever. We was just talking so I ain't got to answer my phone when I want to. Yeah. We was just talking so I'm going to answer your text 24 hours later. So, talking is out.
I don't know, dating is two different things for me.
Talking is out. Let me finish, bro. Talking is out. No, it's not that. I ain't said it like that. Why you instigating? It wasn't even like that. I just wanted to finish my point. Dating should be just dating. So if you know you like somebody, don't like somebody, y'all have a couple dates and y'all say y'all want a relationship. Dating dating and a relationship is two different things. Dating is the moments before we decide we want to be in a relationship. So I guess you want to consider that talking, but talking is just a bullshit word that keeps you all in limbo to do what you want to do.
Is first you attract what you are. So I think that if you want love, you like people were saying, you have to love yourself first. It all starts with you, it's internal, and then it manifests outwardly. You know what I mean? So I think people, love is not instant gratification. Love is not, it's a selfless act. A lot of people are selfish, so that's why they can't find love, because you attract what you are. So if you ain't shit, you want to attract people who ain't shit. So that's really what it is. It's the laws of attraction.
What you know about that love game?
That love game sucks.
Why?
Because nobody really is very interested in love nowadays.
Why do you think that is?
It's a new generation. And I think TV has a lot to do with influence on that, maybe.
Why TV? What is it about TV that you feel is affecting people?
Pretty much all TV is, as far as music, as far as a bunch of other stuff. They talk a lot about hoes.
You feel like
money,
that? You feel that affects
sex.
people's outlook on music, on love and stuff?
Yeah.
Even for women?
Even for women.
What?
Even for women, because I don't know. You got men out here who don't really care for it. You got women out here who don't really care for it. Mainly sometimes because most people have been through it. Some of their hearts been broken and they don't want to ever go through that again.
God is love. End of story. And at the end of the day, that's all there really is God is love. And I'm noticing in today's society and culture, it's almost like there's been a shift towards more people using the word hate. And it's all perception and how people see things, and then people doing it for their haters. And I don't agree with that. I think that there needs to be a shift back and pay more attention to the love that somebody is giving you rather than the hate. So that term, do it for the haters or get revenge for the haters, that's just wasted energy in a place that it doesn't need to be. So love is amazing. God is the center of all love. Yeah.
What you know about that love game?
Oh, the love game in LA is fierce. When I first used to ask girls out on dates, I used to be a white guy, but yeah, it's just hard, break you down to your bare bones. But yeah, I honestly think the love game is kind of a sham, because to me, I think love is more, it's not a heart-shaped thing, it's more of a rectangular shape. Like, what's the shape of the dollar bill? Exactly. That's what love game means to me. It's all about money.
I think, one, I don't think that talking is bullshit. Sorry, disagree with you, Mr. Hollywood over there. But I think that talking is the pre-dating and I think talking is pre-dating, because it's like you getting ready, it's like you filling this person out, you getting to know that person. And I think dating is more so like you exclusive. You're not talking to no other chicks or guys, or on the other side, if it's you exclusive. Y'all do, you can still. I think you could. Sex doesn't have anything to do with it. But I think that dating is just the big difference is just exclusiveness. That's if I had to dumb it down.
I find it interesting that it's referred to as a game. Because in a game, there's playfulness, there's competition. The goal of a game is that somebody's got to win, right? Mm-hmm. And in a lot of, especially contact sports, despite whatever the playbook is, it's by any means necessary. So what that has done is it has taken the word love, given it a play position, and hopefully that's what you win in the end. Nowadays, it's not like looking for character, looking for potential parenthood, looking for, like Fitz said, friendship, looking for all those grounding things that we used to in generations past. Now we're looking for who's the flashiest, who has the most money, who can put us in the biggest house so we can brag to our friends, you know, who's going to impress whoever they want to impress. And I think that it's taken the art of love and romance on a different trajectory that we used to have, and now we don't so much.
All right, cool. Why do we as people tend to attract what's not good for us? This camera's still on.
Because it feels good. It's like what Mary J. Blige said, the good guy's no fun. The bad guy, how the song go? It's fun, but I know it ain't right, but it feel good.
Well, my take is like, just live in the moment. Like, if it feels good to me, it feels good. You feel me? Then, this was my take before last year, should I say? If it feels good at that moment, if you know the person is bad, you have that energy, you have that vibe, you get that feeling. Run, girl. It doesn't matter if it feels good. Run, boy. It doesn't matter if it feels good. That is not good for you in the long run.
So why does it take you right now to realize it as to 5 years before?
That's just like you live and learn. You have to experience it for yourself. Because I was the type of person like, what? I have friends who stay with their man. They don't work. They beat them. They have kids with them. They have kids with them, and they stay with them, and they don't work, and they don't do anything for the family. Like, and they literally just love this man to the core of them. And I never understood it until I found myself in a situation dealing with a man I loved to the core of me, but he wasn't good for me. You know, I knew that he wasn't good for me. He wasn't feeling my soul. You know what I mean? He wasn't like being supportive with my career, with anything, with my emotions or anything like that. But at the moment, I knew that, I don't know, at that moment I felt that he loved me. You know? And
Was it that you felt it or you wanted to feel it? The difference?
It could, I would say, I wanted to feel it.
Let me tell you something. Dick got a lot of power.
Yes, it does.
It don't get the credit it deserves. Because you got that man you want. You can put some spells on it, you know what I'm saying?
He put a spell on me. He hypnotized me. Y'all heard that song? No, I'm just kidding.
I couldn't hear what you said, but
It was more than that, trust me.
Does a woman want honesty, or does she really want honesty, or can she?
Some people do. I mean, everyone says that they do, but not everyone does or knows how to act according to that, you know, which is a part of not accepting it, not wanting it. So,
what do you feel that stems from? A lot of people don't want to accept the truth. What is the problem with the truth?
it hurts, you know. That's the problem with the truth, that it hurts, you know. And sometimes we feel like what we don't know won't hurt us, but it still ends up hurting us at the end of the day. So it's better to know, so at least you can get out or create a plan or plan B, you know.
Ladies don't want love in Hollywood. They want money in Hollywood. In Hollywood, it's all about the money, the fame, the shine, who you know, who you ride with, what doors you're walking in. And on the love status, it's about having love by all the right people. You know, and a lot of people have a lot of people they love, so their love is moving around in Hollywood.
So you be in the club scenes, things like that. What is it? Do you feel like today, like people even looking for love, and especially in the club, or it's just like
it's only a certain few looking for love, but the rest of them, they're not. They're just out to party. They already got love at home. You know, they're already in love. They're already seeing someone. They're building their love. Some people are fighting in their love. They just come to the club to get away and have a good time.
What frustrates me is that it's like everybody wants to have sex as soon as they meet you. Like, what happened to people actually getting to know the other person before we actually did this? Because I've been in situations where it's like, okay, this is cool, we have sex or whatever, but now I don't even know what to say to you when you come over or when I see you, because like I don't even know you like that. Like I don't even know like what type of conversation are we gonna have? So then it just ends up like, let's have sex, because we just sitting here staring at each other like sex, you know? Because it's like, what do you
because it was the motivation to begin with.
That's what Doc said. That's what she said. It's the same thing. It's like you have to
you have to know the motives and know, get to know him outside of that.
Like, are you looking for a relationship? No. Okay, I'm still gonna go on a date with you, but be super surprised when you want to fuck on the first date. Like that's like it's weird. It's like if you already know that a person, this is not on their mind, or they say like I'm just casually dating, or like I'm just want to get to know you, or I just want to see where things go. Those are all very fluid responses, which can be very respected. But I wouldn't go on a date with that person and be surprised and be like, well, why aren't you trying to get to know him? Because that person's gonna be like, because I don't want a girlfriend right now. Like, I met you on Tinder and so I don't want to look.
Oh, I just said that from today I've learned that different people want different things, and that the love will have to be customized for specific individuals.
What do you feel today's problem in today's relationships and why things don't work out?
What I found out is just like there's just a variety of different types of love out there, and there's a variety of a diverseness of what people's interpretation of a relationship is, which just ultimately has us all out here kind of bumping into each other. There is no more general idea of what a relationship looks like, which seems to be causing so many issues and so many complications. So in today, it's just really hard for people to get on the same page.
There's also the aspect that you kind of think that you could change somebody. So like for me, I was in a relationship in the past, and I got like the good side of him. He didn't show me that he was a bad boy. He was from the Bay Area. His family was a certain way. He never showed me who he really was. Everybody else that he was close to knew, but he was good to me. But as time progressed, his personality really started coming out where there was a moment, I don't let no guy disrespect me. He called me a bitch. What did I do? I got out the car, I started to walk home. He made me do crazy things where I wanted to run over him because he's in my presence and stuff like that. He's destructed my room and stuff like that, but he's crying to me, telling me, I need you, I need this, like you making me a better person, blah, blah, blah.
Does that work?
I'm not.
Does that work?
It didn't work for me at the moment, but I felt really bad. I'm like, dang, this guy has issues. Like, maybe I can help. Like, he grew up. Like, now that I know more about him, maybe like I can talk to some sense into him. Not that I need him to love me, but that I'm kind of taking care of him. I was taking care of him, and that's how sensitive I got with him. So, but as time went on, it was like I can't do this. Like, this is done. There was one thing that was the last straw, and that was like the most that I've ever let anyone disrespect me or stuff like that. So it took until years after our breakup and stuff like that for him to call me. Like, I realized this is the type of person that I was, and I just want to thank you for dealing with me and stuff like that. So I really do feel like it's unfortunate, but I was a blessing to his life because he did change, and I stayed in it, not because, the dick at the same time, because I knew I didn't want to be with it was convenient.
Most guys aren't going to be that honest, because if a guy is honest like that, you're not going to fuck with them 9 times out of 10. Like, you're not going to continue to go see them. So you just have to pick up those signs along the way. Like, I feel like if a guy really wants to get to know you, he's not even going to try to sleep with you right off the bat.
Well, let me scratch the surface first. I'll say social media and cell phones are killing relationships. In terms of the black community, to go deep, I'll say brothers going to jail. The reason I say that is because there aren't a lot of black men out here. Sometimes I feel alone, to be honest. And the black man is becoming scarce. It's becoming scarce. So black women are dating out of their race. Not that I have an issue with that, but I think that black men are becoming scarce due to jail, due to job opportunities. There's very few opportunities for the black man. I was talking to an OG, and he was telling me how like black men used to be in the union, and that actually backfired on us, because now there's a lot of black men who can't get jobs and can't get the amount of pay that they want. So in turn, black women who are going to college, who are educated, or want a man that can take care of them, there's not a lot of men out there that can do that.
I think that there are still a few out there advocate for it that are trying to keep hope alive and trying to keep that out there, but as we mentioned today, not a lot of that is seen and put on the forefront. So people are being blinded by what they see in the media. So they're following trends and they're trying to stay hip as opposed to creating something sustainable and that's gonna last.
You know about that love game?
I don't really know too much about it. I mean, like what? I was just asking my fiance this the other day. Like what is love? How do we define love? Because people, they give love in many different ways. Some people give love through cooking. Some people give love by just advice. Some people love but don't show you they love you. So, I mean, what kind of game are we talking about?
I don't necessarily think that's true for every woman. Like, I've had instances where, or an instance where a guy just wanted to sleep with me, but I found that out after the fact. But if he had just said, you know what, Morgan, I don't really want a relationship right now, then I would have respected that, and I would have slept with him because I wanted to anyway. But it's just, I ended up liking him, and he didn't feel the same. Whereas if he would have just said that off top that he didn't want that, I wouldn't have caught feelings. But that's what I think we're talking about with the honesty thing, not so much the I just want to fuck thing. It is about the approach, because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But
so if a guy's really dig in, he says, "Look, I got 10 bitches I'm fucking." Are you still gonna fuck them?
if I wanted to anyway, yeah.
Are we not talking about fuckboys? That's proof.
Wait. So because he has multiple sex partners, it makes him a fuckboy?
No, I'm saying the mentality of a fuckboy, how they operate. They still manage to get women. You're wondering why. Why isn't the good guy able to, but the bad guy is? We are giving you tidbits.
I know why.
Let me tell you right now, the best sex that I've ever had in my entire life, and I've had a lot of sex. A lot of sex. The very best sex I've ever had in my entire life was from a male stripper. I knew he was fucking these other bitches at the strip club. I knew that. When he came, I never met him before. When he came up to my friend and said, I don't normally do this. Tell your friend to stretch. I'm fucking her tonight. And the confidence, let me tell you something. The confidence with which this man told me that, I knew from the jump. I knew he fucked 3 bitches that was in the club that night. I knew he fucks with them, whatever. I knew at that moment, my pussy was wet. I knew I wanted to fuck him, so I did. and it was the best sex I've ever had in my life. To this day, I tell niggas that I fucked after that about him. Like, it's that good. He gets the back fat and everything, bitch. I was like, I'm in love, but I knew after the fact, I was like, I'm gonna go home, bitch, and just think about this nigga every now and then and be like, but because he came to me, he was like, I knew station. He was very upfront. I knew he had a girlfriend that was in the state. But it was kind of like, I knew all about his situation. I was like, it's messy, but bitch, I can turn right quick, step back out when I'm done, and be cool with it. Be honest up front, and it makes a woman respect that more. Like, I respect that about him more, you know what I'm saying?
Women, close your legs. That's all I gotta say. Women have all the power in a relationship, but they choose not to use it. Why? Either for some mental reasons or whatever reason they are. But yeah, I think if women were to close their legs more, men wouldn't act like players to then think that they actually have to be somebody and bring something to the table to actually get into a relationship.
So why the ladies don't get that and they can't close their legs?
I don't know. Animal instinct? I don't know. I can't explain it myself. Right? Like people ask me all the time, why is your hair so long, Doc? Well, I live my life like an 80s action hero. No women, no children. There you go.
Why do you feel people like to play the game a lot? Why do people play the game? Why can't we just be straight up with each other?
Well, I mean, I think people play games because the truth hurts, and people don't like putting themselves in a vulnerable position. So by nature, we're gonna play a game at some point, and we all play games. I mean, you can sit here and be watching this and say you don't play games, but me and you both know you be at home playing Uno and playing love games. So it's like, I mean, it just depends, how you look at the situation, because we all got different perspectives and views on how we see things. So, ultimately it just boils down to, what kind of game are we playing and how do you want to play it? Because me, I'm gonna checkmate you.
Like you were saying before, like every individual is not gonna be okay with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Some people are, but that's also knowing like who you're approaching and how to approach them, because the approach that is gonna work on me isn't necessarily gonna work on her. That's gonna work on her. There's no one size fits all. So that's kind of like when you get into the whole laws of seduction, like reading your victim. You know what I mean? You gotta figure out what it is that make them tick, and what it is that they want. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you have to tailor your approach to somebody. It's not like you have to give a sales pitch, but honesty works Well, I'm not gonna say it works all the time because a lot of people in general don't want you to be honest with them. Not so.
You see a lot of one night stands?
Every night. And everywhere around the world, it's one night stands every night.
What do you feel that triggers? What do you feel triggers a one night stand?
Being very on your shit. Like, you know, when a girl see you got everything she's been looking for in that one night, you might get that good night. You know what I mean? If you show her all the good things, take her all the right places, you know, all the right people, she's gonna be like, man, I want to give it to him.
Do you feel have you seen one nights turn into long terms?
Yeah. See, a lot of one nights happen because we meet a girl 2 days from now. She gotta leave. She gotta leave like tomorrow or something, so she gonna come see you real quick and go back to her country with you and, you know, memories of you. You know, 'cause she knows she ain't coming back. One night stand.
How black women see brothers and stuff, because you look at it like this, like, she loved Stefan, but Stefan was in Urkel the whole time, so why couldn't she bring out Stefan out of Urkel?
But when Urkel got tired of her shit, he went and got a better chick.
His Alvaro was weird.
I saw one episode, I remember that. I can come on. Enough, goddammit.
So is that saying that ladies are more into the perception of how people see the relationship as in terms of actual how the relationship really is? Because she loves Stefan, but Stefan.
They want Superman, but not Clark Kent.
Ladies are in love with status, the men with status. So if they see a man in power, they're attracted to that more than a guy who is just mediocre.
Mediocre?
But what is
That's the auction block. I go back to the auction block.
I'm just saying.
Take a lot of this personal.
That's what it is. If you saying that it's gonna say, that's what you doing. You basically like, okay, well if you ain't this, then you ain't shit. You ain't shit.
I'm honest with myself. Bitch, you got some rolls right here. Cover that shit up and go back. I'm honest with myself. So when you're honest with yourself, you can then take honesty from others. When you can't take from others, because you're not honest with yourself. And that's an internal issue you gotta deal with.
That's true. That's definitely.
Because I've heard women be like, I know he messes around. I just don't want to know about it. And I'm sorry, I'm not there. But they also have personal issues, like, you know, low self-esteem and you know, I mean, I'm not trying to discredit everybody that think that way, but I'm just talking about the people that I know that are like that. They have personal issues, so therefore they're like, I just wanted to be with this man. I don't care what he's doing. I don't want to even know. Don't tell me. Just come back home to me and just love me the way I want to be loved.
Because there is a such thing as being a product of your environment. However, it is a such thing as getting to a point to where you're old enough to fix your own situation. There's a lot of women that walk around and they're still complaining about what happened at 13. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of men who do that as well. My issue is that when you 30 and you still talking about you doing this because you was 15, this happened to you, something's wrong. Because at that point, you're old enough to go and seek help and fix your situation. It is nothing more unattractive than a man or a woman who is still complaining about the things that happened to them when they were 7 years old and you 4,900. It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense.
So do you feel that affects a woman's perception, though, in terms of love as well, and what they feel security is? And
absolutely, I think a woman's perspective of love and security is based on what they've seen. And then I think that at some point a decision has to be made to say what you will accept for yourself. I tell people my parents have been married so long I can't even tell you how long they've been married. However, I can also say that I've never seen my parents in an argument, ever, in life. I'm not saying they don't argue, but I'm saying I've never seen it. Which means, and what that has shown me is that there's a respect level that happens in my house, because when my dad drives my mom crazy, she don't go off on my dad in front of us. She waits and go say whatever she gonna say in another room. Versus if my mom is driving my dad crazy, the same thing happens. I think that we are not taught how to respect each other, and I think that's where the whole love issue comes into play, and people don't really know how to give love or receive love because they've never really been shown it. There are some things that my parents do that I think are great. There's some things that my parents do that I don't like. I take the part that I want and I make the best relationship and marriage for myself. if you don't have that and you don't have parents that were together, then you go find the people that you want to emulate. It's training. Who you want to be as a person is the same thing you do as who you want to be when you're going to get a job. If you want to be a CEO, you go seek out CEOs to mentor you, to make you the best CEO you can be. If you want to be the best woman in your marriage, if you want to be the best man in your marriage, if you want to be the best person in love, then it will behoove you to be around people who are genuinely in love.
Not be his girl for the weekend. She gone.
Just for the weekend. And once she's gone, she's gone. You ain't gonna see her again until like maybe next summer or some shit. And when she comes back, she's probably not even gonna call you. She's looking for something new.
This is like that, huh?
Just like that. The game is crushed. Just like my heart.
I'm not laughing at your heart being crushed, bro. That was just good timing on everything. How you feel about the friend zone?
Friend zone? Oh, it's the worst thing ever. I mean, I'll be there, but you know, I'm not trying to stay there. You know. I mean, like if I get into a friend zone, I'm like, all right, check please. I'm on to the next one. Cause like I have enough friends. I have a dog. I don't need more friends than that.
Not being it, you have to stand out. You know, like nothing about you, like that spark is not there. Then yeah, that'll put you in the friend zone, or if you don't have your shit together and you're not attractive, or that would be the main thing that probably puts you in the friend zone. Your approach and timing too. Timing sometimes has nothing to do with the person. Sometimes it's just bad timing, you know.
Friend zone. I think friend zone is the best place ever for both parties. For friend zones, I don't know how to explain it. I've never felt like I've been at the friend zone where I've been trying to like get at someone and been like, oh, I've seen it on TV and stuff like that. But I think it's important when you meet somebody to make sure that you have that friendly chemistry. So I believe that I'm in friend zones with women and women are in my friend zones, but it's more of like a mutual friend zone for everybody. It's more of like an understanding almost, and it's not necessarily saying that you're unattractive or whatever the case is. I have women that are in my friend zone that are bad, that are beautiful women. But I understand because I know who that person is that it could never be anything more than a friend zone. And then it's like, okay, if you do decide to take that one step further and sleep with the person, which sleeping with the person is the most intimate connection physically that you can possibly have. So if you decide to take that step, then afterwards, it's like you're sacrificing a friend, because then everything's going to be awkward afterwards and it might mix stuff up, or one person doesn't know how to act. One person might start to think something like, oh, is it this, is it that? So it just kind of messes up the whole chemistry.
Be real with us. Do you really want to be our friend? Obviously you want to be something more. And so I don't really need a salty friend circle of men that can't be with me. I don't need that in my life. It's totally fine if you feel like I'm not interested in being with you in a relationship, and that's fine. We can just be associates. You don't have to hang out with me sometimes if you feel that way. If you feel like every time you with me, it's like you don't have to try and like hang out with me. You don't have to listen to me like tell you about like the guys I'm dating. I wouldn't do that to any of my guy friends anyway. And stuff. Women that do that to their guy friends, stop. It's not right. Like don't subject them to having sick of your shit. What are they saying? Like don't do it to them. But the guys I do, I guess, place in that box, I don't consider them friends. Just people I met as acquaintances and stuff, and I just didn't have that same spark as they had when they came to me. And that's all it is. That's all it is. It's like, it's just not mutual. It's not nothing against you. Like, I totally understand that men like to pursue and they want to try and change your mind in that. I don't mind men doing that, but please like be open and understanding when a woman communicates to you that she's just not interested. You can pull out all the stops, but just be happy that a woman is honest enough to tell you that she's not interested, instead of having you like be a doormat for her on the way out. And as women, we got to remember this too. When we sleep with a guy and he's not interested in being anything more than that to us, women, we go through this all the time on our side. after y'all get the pussy.
And,
So, like,
and you know
y'all
they
gotta think
switch
about
up
that.
too. They switch up. First they start out nice, being friends, and
All
all
of
that,
them.
and then you end up sleeping with them or whatever, and then they change.
We should just be friends.
Yeah, right.
Like, what?
Or maybe they didn't change. Maybe they didn't change.
They just put on the right man.
No one changes. They just reveal themselves.
So there's the friend zone, and then the sister part of that, the brother to that, is like all the girls that you slept with that you're not interested in dating. So I mean, we both have both sides to this. On people's side, only one y'all get the pussy and one y'all don't. That's the only difference.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this right now, but I feel the urge to just purge this real quick.
Patterns that I've seen, and because I do not want to hurt him, because he is my friend and I care about him, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna have to keep him in that friend zone.
What type of patterns you don't like?
Okay, for me, well, with this particular person, it has to do with the fact that, you know, he has a lot of unresolved issues from childhood, which cause him to drink, you know, all the time, you know, which causes him to have problems with his body, and like, you know what I'm saying, it's certain things like that, and it's like a lot with him, it's like a lot of stuff from his childhood. But I feel like, you know, when you look at somebody, a lot of times you know if this is a person that you can see yourself being in a relationship with. And a lot of times when you see that it's not, we still overlook the flaws because of whatever, because we think the sex is going to be good, because we think they look good, they have money, whatever it may be for you. But, you know, if you're going to, especially with somebody that you're genuinely friends with, you know, you don't want to cross that line and, you know, and not go good, especially when you care about the person.
Wait, can you repeat the question?
Well, I'm about to add the segue part to it.
Okay.
So, do you feel that men and women can actually be friends if they're attracted to each other?
Nah, I don't think that men and women can be friends if they're attracted to each other. If there's a mutual attraction, something's bound to happen. It could be whether, you know, we're in the club having a few drinks or we're smoking a blunt and you're in my living room. Like, at some point or another, something is going to happen if we're attracted to each other. You know what I mean? Like, something is going to happen.
Maybe that's why your friend you grew up with couldn't be your friend no more. You say he couldn't be around, you know, and he cares for you the way he does.
And that's why I believe it. That's why we can't be friends, because every time I'm with you, you make me feel uncomfortable, like I need to do something, or that we just can't just kick it because there's some underlying tension and there's some attraction that you want it to come into fruition. So it's like, okay, it's unfortunate, but I would rather just not spend time with you if you're, you know, if you don't want to be in this zone.
Do you feel that attraction can stem from the countless heartbreaks or whatever you've been through, and the person seeing you gravitate, and you know, when you see somebody?
I think people often look at friend zones like, oh, I just want to make this publicly known that friend zones are not always permanent. And sometimes, a lot of the best marriages have started off as friendships, and they're genuine friendships that have lasted for years, and they turn into a solid relationship. You gotta be your spouse's friend first before you can be their actual, like, oh, I love her, but can you really be their friend and be with them and be their friend through the thick and the thin? So I think it's okay. Like, I think friend zones are sometimes okay.
So you saying women keep the guys in friend zone who have potential husband material, but so much you just on some lust thing.
No. Don't group it to like everything. What I'm saying is there are some instances sometimes where friend zones are okay, and you just know this person's special to me. So like you said, he's my good friend. But over time, people evolve, and that evolution could be your evolution. My evolution could mean that in 10 years, we're meant to be in 10 years. My mom, her husband now are having friends 35 years before they got married.
So what is up with guys that have a hard time accepting being a friend? What is so bad about a friend zone to men that they just can't deal with?
I don't have a problem with it. I think friend zones are cool. Just like I explained, I can see how if there's some woman that you're just holding up on the highest pedestal ever and you really want to be with her and you're in that friend zone, I would say, cheers, you made it to the friend zone. And if you're in the friend zone, then you get to work on that little sentimental stuff that could possibly draw her in. So that's right where you want to be, instead of an awkward, you can't even talk to her zone. So then if you're in the friend zone and you're in that situation, then start to do sentimental things to make her feel special, and who knows what will happen.
All that bad.
It's not. It's perception of how you look at it. You know what I mean? If you're in the friend zone and then all of a sudden you're feeling down because you're her friend, well, that's not where you want to be. Well, what can you do to make yourself more attractive and look like the man that she needs and wants?
That's some real stuff. Any words of advice that you can give to somebody who may be trying to look and find that solidarity of strong, lasting relationship?
I'm to the point where, in all honesty, I just believe don't look. Just don't look. Focus on your goals, on what you want to do, on what you want to accomplish in your life, and that's going to take you down a path that's going to bring you to somebody that's on the same path. Maybe they're looking, or they're in the same job field or whatever. But if you go out looking, like let's say, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it does happen sometimes, but if you go looking, like let's say I went to the club right now and went and looked for it, that's not typically where you would want to meet your significant other. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it can't happen, but for me right now, I'm not in that scene. So I want to meet somebody who's level-headed, who, you know, I might meet on a job, or might meet in church, or might meet in the gym, or somewhere like that. So you can already have something in common, because if you meet somebody at the club, it's like, oh, you look good that night, and then you get to talking, and it's just all bad.
Okay, sometimes, you know, it's not right for you at that time. Timing has a lot to do with things, because somebody may not be emotionally mature enough to be in a relationship, like where you said they know that they cannot be monogamous, but they want you so bad that they're going to be with you knowing that you still want someone to be monogamous, and they're not going to be that. So sometimes, you know, like she said, you know what I'm saying, for instance, like my friend that I was talking about, like there's a possibility, and I have considered it before, but then he would do some shit that made me feel like, okay, no, that's why you're still a friend. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't just say, like she said, like you can't say that someone's always going to stay in the friend zone. They may be able to get out depending on what they do and how, you know, your relationship and friendship progresses.
Tell us about your husband.
Oh, my husband's amazing.
Is he a thug?
No, my husband is not a thug. My husband is the guy that when I woke up one day and was like, okay, I'm ready to get married. And when I said, okay, I'm ready to get married, I had options. And being honest, I was deciding between two guys. And my husband was my friend. So I would go to my husband, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I like him because he's like this. And then I was like, but then he's, you know, he's like, and it was a hood guy and it was a corporate hood guy. Because, you know, hood guys, they go to college, they get degrees, they better themselves. So, you know, this one was like a corporate hood guy, but he went to work every day. Without putting it out there, but one was saying, hey, I'll go, you're an actress, I'll move to LA, I'll take care of everything, I'll go to work every day, all you got to do is act. I was like, this is amazing. And then the other one was like, I'm never gonna move to LA, that's not what I want, and I'm sorry, but I love you, so what you want to do? And I was like, oh, but I've been dealing with him for 20 years, right? So now the whole time I'm having this conversation with my now husband, who is just my friend. And
he was neither of those two.
He was neither of those two.
He was the actor.
He was the actor. He was my friend. Regardless of the job, he was my friend. And he was a good guy.
So he was a friend zone.
Yeah, I would say he was in the friend zone. Not because he was just not a part, he just wasn't on the roster.
That's what you was thinking about.
Yeah, he was just the guy that I would go and have conversations with about the guys I was dating. I don't know. But yeah, so I guess you could say he was in the friend zone. And we would talk. And long story short, we were sitting about a year or so later. And we used to hang out all the time. Like we went to the club together. He would call me and be like, "Oh, this girl trying to get it," you know. And I'd be like, "What you gonna do, bro?" He was like, "I don't know. It's a booty call. She didn't text me after 11. I know what's going down." I was like, "All right, let me know how it goes." We were friends. And then one day we were having a conversation, and it was just like, at some point we're gonna get in these relationships, and these relationships are gonna move to a place where a man is not gonna be comfortable with me hanging with you as much as I do. And he was like, and a woman is not gonna be comfortable with me hanging with you. And he was like, what will you do? And I said, I love you from a distance. And he turned to me and he said, I've been trying to figure out how to say that to you for a very long time. And I was like, what? And
something just changed in the air, huh?
Yeah, and he said, but I don't want another girlfriend, because he had been through a crazy breakup. He said, I don't want another girlfriend. He was like, so either we're gonna get married or we'll stay friends forever. And I said, well, I'll marry you. And it was just like that.
So he ain't proposing nothing, you just said I'll marry you?
We had an official proposal later on, but that's the way the conversation went. I don't want a friend, so we either gonna be married or we'll stay friends forever.
So he asked right away, he just like, you marry her, so let's see we would go from there.
No, it was, I'm not gonna be your friend. We're either gonna be friends forever or we're gonna get married. And I said, I will marry you. He went in my parents' house the next day and asked my father.
How long before y'all got married?
1 year.
You said something earlier about he was out your comfort zone. What is it about ladies who have a hard time dating outside of comfort zone?
Yes. I have talked to a few people about this plenty of times because I think we get caught up in a certain type, and we have our own expectations because we have our own, like, okay, this is what a man has to have. We have all these super high expectations because we have expectations for ourselves. But sometimes I think that if you just let go and actually just learn somebody that you're not used to, because I had a few friends tell me, well, I could see you with this type of guy, and I could tell, like, you would look real good with this type of guy. And then it was like, when they saw Christian, it was like, well, that's not the type of guy that I could see you with. And it's like, okay, well, I really like him, and I'm just seeing where it goes because he's cool, he's nice, we can hang out, he's cute, like.
And why do girls act like that? Why do they always feel like bougie? But the one who, if it's someone that looks the part but not treating you right, they want you to make it work with that.
Right.
Like, what is that? Why did?
I think because I've fallen into the trap before I met Christian, is that you think that that type of guy is going to change for you.
Because they're hoping for an NFL contract and to be a
Well,
football
not that.
wife.
That was my type. Some women want that business type that has their own business, or that corporate type, and it's like you might not.
His own business or his own business is making money?
Yeah, business making money. Like, you know, they have all these high expectations.
There's a lot of single entrepreneur brothers that's waiting and seeking.
And that's another thing too. Is like entrepreneur brothers. It's like it might take a while for them to be super successful, and it's like a lot of women for some reason want that end deal with the man they want to marry, and sometimes it's you might have to grind with them, and we have our own grinding too. So it's like I think it kind of goes along with like you think of the man you're dating almost like of who your father was, because they see their dad as like, oh, he took care of me, he had the money, he brought it home, all that stuff. But sometimes in dating, it's not that. You have to grind. Like me and Christian, we're both actors. So was I gonna look at him like, oh, he's not hitting it yet? It's like, well, obviously not. He's working for me, and so am I. So.
Have you ever gotten out the friend zone?
Wait, have I gotten out of the friend zone into a relationship with a chick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's good, but I mean, shit. I mean, I got enough friends. and now that I masturbate, I got enough love too. So, you know, like unless a woman is about to make me a better me, I really have no time for it.
How would a man could get out of that friend zone where you can take him to another level? Take him serious.
By how he treats a woman. You know, I feel like if you treat her good enough, you'll get her. You know, you be a gentleman and you stay true to your word and you do everything you say you're gonna do, you'll get her.
What if he never gets her? Is it just not meant to be?
Maybe. Or maybe she found someone else that she felt was more of a match for her.
So you feel good?
Unfortunately, you know, we only have one person to be with, so sometimes, you know, it's not even that person is not suitable, it's just that we're already seeing someone else, or it's just not the right timing, or whatever the case may be.
Now, love traditionally, of course, to having to hold to death do you part, and the person you are loving should be making you better, and they're making you better, and you're making them better. And that's a short version of what the love game should be. But in today's times, it's more gotten into a rushing to this or rushing to that. Cause I just want to get married. I just need to. I get married as soon as I can. And there's a rush that happens where people aren't really taking the time to get to know each other and become friends first. Because if it's death do you part, you got to be best friends first, and don't get married first and hope you become friends. Be friends first, because that's the number one thing that keeps you going. You gotta have a friend. Your best friend should be your spouse.
So the openness that you guys had, you guys friends, do you still have that openness?
Absolutely. It was the best thing. I hear women say all the time, I want to marry my friend. No, you don't. Because saying that you want to marry your friend says what you're saying is, I want to marry the person who's going to be honest with me no matter what. No matter what. And a lot of women think that they want their friend, but and I have so many female friends, and I tell them all the time, you can't, they're like, I want your relationship. No, you don't. You can't have my relationship. You can't understand that my husband will come home off set and be like, oh my God, I saw the prettiest female. I was crushing all day. And I'd be like, oh dang, what is your girlfriend now? Like, and we can laugh and joke like that. He can walk down the street and see a woman and tell me that he's attracted to a woman. I can see a man and tell him that I'm attracted to a man. And the hard part about us being friends first is the hard part. Like sometimes we'll say to each other, okay, friend moment. And then we know you liable to say anything. Friend moment? Okay, yeah, friend moment. So I was thinking, true story. Oh, he's gonna kill me. True story. I love Nelly. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a huge, huge, huge Nelly fan. And I had already asked my husband before, can I get a Nelly pass? He was like, absolutely not. And I was like, come on, just give me a Nelly pass. I'll give you a Melanie Fiona pass. When you meet Melanie, go for it. When I meet Nelly, it'll be on me. He's like, absolutely not. So I told him he was a hater. So with that being said, bringing the story full circle, friend moment, I have a picture of Nelly in my phone completely naked, okay? Because I love Nelly. My husband's standing there, he's completely naked. And I turned to him and I said, friend moment? He was like, yeah. And I was like, you know what, I don't even know why I have to have that picture of Nelly, because you're doing all right, bro. Like, you. But, yes, see, every man is like, what? But that's my friend. You see, that's my friend. And he is so much my friend that I would be willing to let him go if it would save my friendship. And that's my husband. So my love is a pure love. My love, in my wedding vows, I said to you, I'm gonna forgive you today for everything you gonna do later on. Because that's my friend.
Fellas, what makes a man cheat?
Are we doing it right?
Whoever wanna go first.
The dog in us.
Keep it 100. Break down that dog.
What makes a man cheat? Well, I mean that's a heavy topic. That's a real heavy topic. There's all sorts of reasons. There's shallow reasons and there's deeper reasons. So it depends on what you want to attack first. If you're talking about the shallow reason of why men cheat, it's because we've been raised to think that sex is the end all be all. We've been raised to think that what it takes to be a true man is the notches on your belt.
Facts.
And when you go through your entire life living a certain way, it doesn't matter where you transition to, it's become a habit. It becomes an addiction.
Facts.
So you could be married, you could be in a serious relationship. I mean, you could be the president of the United States. That trumps everything because it's a brainwash.
Yeah, indoctrinated.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that. I think, and also too, it's like we live in a sexual society. So everywhere we go, we see titties, ass, billboards, naked, porn everywhere on your phone. And see, we're not like women. Women have estrogen, so y'all is in. We have testosterone. So that means that like ours is out. So that means that we like it's harder for us to control our sexual urges a little bit more than you got, and because women have so much variety. Men, it's like we gotta get what we can get, like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, it's like a female. I mean, I'm saying this is like how you think when you're younger. Like a woman can just go outside and, you know, like 1,000 dudes ready to fuck, you know what I mean? But a guy, you know what I mean? We gotta charm you, you know what I'm saying? We gotta be strategic, we gotta do all that. So, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of times, and I know especially me, like when I was in high school, you know, I wasn't no hot throb or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? Like it was hard for me to get there, but when I got older and kind of grew into me, and I started getting attention, I was like, oh shit, we make up for that time, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, like he said, it's like some indoctrination. And you gotta think about the black culture. Listen to the rappers, all the music is fuck a bitch, she ain't shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, as black people, what we need to understand is we can't support a culture that supports this stuff and then say, what's the problem? You know, you can't treat cancer with cancer, so it's like one gotta go. It's like, all right, look, if we gonna be with the black culture and then be down with the 2 Chainz, all that shit, and fuck bitches and you know all that, because the same women that say they don't like these type of dudes be dancing to that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When I go in the club and I hear bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks, they be the women who be you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
I was there. I was in a relationship that I thought was it. and I cheated too. Now, this, again, like I said, it's not black or white. It's a gray area, and this resides for both male and female. And there is no single answer, but it does come from somewhere within. If a person is cheating, it's coming from somewhere deep down inside, and maybe even not that deep realistically, but they're going through something, and it could be some turmoil from back in their childhood. It could be something that they're going through and they don't even understand it, and they're acting out on something that's been plaguing them all their lives. But it could also be something present, because maybe they're confused, maybe they don't know where they're going in life, or maybe they are acting out because they're hurting because something happened in the relationship. I mean, it can go on and on and on, but the point is it's an inner battle, and it's a battle that they're losing. And when they lash out in that way, it's because they're trying to find answers in places that it's not.
So you believe there are loyal men that can be loyal to their woman?
100%. But it takes growth, you know? Especially in today's society, young men, like I said, we're being taught a patriarchal mindset. So we're seeing these faithful men coming up later in life because they have to go through this journey. We're being taught this patriarchal bullshit when we're young. We go through our whole youth thinking that this is what we need to do. This is what it means to be a man. This is, this, that. And then it's not working. We're unhappy. And then we're like, man, wait. There's something more to this. And then you start the journey in growth. And then you start realizing everything that you learned prior was bullshit. And then you got to dissect it. And then you start finding the truth. And then you become the man. And then you find that woman. And then you can start being faithful. For me, it's been a 30-year journey. And I'm still growing.
Ladies, what are things that make a woman cheat?
Well, me, I've never cheated in any relationship. Like, as soon as there's a problem, I'm going to speak with you and try to make it better. And once I see there's nothing that we can do to make it better, then I'm on my way. And other than that, if you decide to have an open relationship, take a break and come back, we can do that. But I notice other people cheat because of lack of attention. But still, that goes back to being able to communicate with your partner, and most don't. They'd rather go online and look into somebody that's giving them more attention and smiley faces, not knowing that person may be worse than the person you're already with. And then you also got to weigh the options like, okay, is this person not giving you attention because they're chasing somebody else, or they're not giving you attention because they're actually working to provide for you and the family?
Not only attention, but also because some women may step outside of their relationship because they're not getting the 100% out of that one guy. So they may look to another guy to get what that one guy that they're in a relationship with from him. So if that guy is lacking, you know, something that she's really attracted to, then she'll step out and get it from this other guy. So that, I think that's why some women may cheat also.
To add to that too, I definitely think it's lack of attention, but it's the way it comes across is that, like, let's say you're in a relationship with somebody for a while and then things start to kind of get a little stale. The guy's too busy, y'all used to go out all the time, now it's like maybe once, maybe 2 weeks, maybe twice a month if you're lucky, and y'all got like time off and stuff with each other. I think those are reasons that drive women to look the other way or entertain the thoughts of, and then when we try to communicate that with our partners, it pushes them away, because then we come off as needy. Then when we come off as like, dang, she just want all my time. Can't she see I'm tired, I'm working, and all this type of stuff. Then it becomes counterproductive. And so I think just more women need to learn that to communicate more attention is actually to spend more time on yourself. Going back to talking about loving yourself, I think the best way, people think it's counterproductive, but actually to pull away will probably be the best indication to give your man that, oh, maybe we need to like take her out this week or something.
Right, exactly. They get comfortable, right? They're not doing the same thing they're not doing the same thing that they did before to get us. And then once they get us, they get comfortable.
Yeah, just no more flowers.
All that. And so if somebody else gonna do it, then there you go. There's the open door to cheating, because now they're not doing the things that they were doing before to keep us.
What if the sex is whack? Is that an open door for cheating?
I understand the first place.
I gotta figure it out first before you
Let's try to work on it first. Let me tell you what I do like, and then you're not performing right, and I might have to.
It's something
but definitely try to work at it first.
It's definitely all in communication. You communicate what each other wants from out of this relationship, set boundaries, and understand each other. It could work, but sex is just the icing on the relationship. It shouldn't be what makes the relationship.
Right.
What makes men cheat? I mean, there's a lot of different things that can make a man cheat. I think that when you find the person that you're really into, there's just nothing else. Now, that's not saying that there's not temptation out there. Temptation is around every corner. But again, I bring it all back to where's your walk? What's your walk like? If you are going to church with a person, with your significant other, if you're praying with them, if you're spiritually trying to level up with that person, the temptation falls second. And it's easy to look at a female. Females are beautiful. All females are beautiful. You can look at a beautiful female and recognize that she's beautiful without lusting over her. I think that when you walk closer to God, it takes some of the lust out of the situation. Or if you catch yourself lusting, especially if you're with your significant other, you can snap out of it a lot faster.
Side of us, when we're born, we're not taught to control that. We're not even taught to be aware of that.
That's what I was gonna say, G. Because like growing up, my mama worked in the health center, and she'll always be like, "Deron, you better make sure you use a condom because it's AIDS, it's STD, it's that, it's that." And then I just saw Sexual Wholeness by Torrey, and he said we aren't taught to like wait for the right person. I was never taught like wait to have sex till you find the right person. I was taught you better use a condom if you do it.
Go out there and have fun, soil them.
That's how my uncles were. My uncle's like, man, you fuck, you know, at like 11 years old, they're like, how many women you see with man? Exactly. You know what I mean? That's how I was like 11. So I'm thinking like, oh well, shit, that's what I got. That makes me a man. You know what I mean? You really think that that's where your manhood come from. And I think too, I say this one thing too. I do think sometimes if we were properly loved by our mothers.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We wouldn't look for that. It's like we look for that void in other women. It's like intimacy is like the closest to love if you're a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then as black men, we dealing with so much weight and so much burden on us that the sex is like our stress reliever. And it's like our drug. You know what I mean? It's like the world stresses me out and we bust this nut, I feel better. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is. That's why no matter how much sex we get, we still jerk off. Like, it doesn't matter. It never stops because it's like that is because in the world is so much oppression and you feel like you just like it's like that's your only piece of hot heaven. You think?
And it really for men it really is a release. Like it takes the edge off.
It takes everything off.
It's better than cocaine.
So that's the reason for y'all to cheat. So that's
no. No, that's why she wants to jack off.
Baby mama and baby daddy issues in the single dating community. Let's start with the first person who said, "Oh my gosh."
If y'all only knew what I am going through right now. The things I want to say I can't say because I'm going through some court shit. I take care of mine, right? Man, they're so lucky. They have the privilege to just carry sperm around, inject it in you, even when you don't know about it. And go. And then the woman has to make that decision. Lord, do I keep it or do I give it? Okay. Back to you. I decided to keep mine because God said if I did, then I'll be all right. So I kept her. Father was there. He was cool. Family got in the way. He too weak. He don't have a backbone to stand up to his family. So they talked to him going to court, and that's why we going to court right now. And I'm standing my ground. He can have his little visitations. That's cool. We gonna take care of them and get mine full in custody like I had her. Cause where was everybody at when I was homeless with my baby? Where was everybody at when we didn't have nowhere to eat and nowhere to go? Where was everybody at? That up in the court building now got her back. God, I'm like ugly. I don't have to worry about nothing. I'm sitting here arguing, not even arguing, with this fool he's making himself look stupid. He's giving me the juice. That's why I'm happy. Where were you? You're able to neglect men are able to neglect their children when they feel like it. They're able to come and go when they feel like. Let me not feel like getting up. Let me go. Not feeling like getting up and taking care of Jayla. I'm gonna go to jail. Not the man. I'm gonna go to jail. I don't get up every day and touch the ground, brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, make sure my baby eat, make sure she clean. I will go to jail first. Not the man. Let a mother choose a day to neglect her child. And I'm gonna need the copy of this. So I can use it to go. Because I'm out here working for my daughter, Jayla Rose Champagne. Ain't nobody else feeding her but me. You can visit, you can spend a little time, you can buy little gifts. That ain't shit. Nothing, girl. It does nothing. And that's all I gotta say for now, because I'm over here talking on Talking Parents currently. To this motherfucker.
I want to piggyback off of her because, you know, I'm a single parent as well. I have 2 little ones, 3 and 2 babies. And the same thing. It's really crazy how the devil makes you feel like you're alone sometimes, but then you hear other people say the same shit that you've been through. Same situation, but luckily my child father finally got it through his head. You not at all gonna get full custody of this. You can get your visitations, but that's it. But same thing. Where were you when we were sleeping in our car? Where were you when I didn't know where I was gonna live, what I was gonna eat, when I was homeless? Where was you at? Like, but now you see I'm doing good for myself.
Oh yeah, no one told me now you're doing good.
5-page letters about how much you love me and this and that, but
still showing flowers though.
Meanwhile, while I was going through all that, you got with another woman, got her pregnant, moved in with her, had a sustainable household, sleeping on a pillow in a bed at night while me and your children, and you know that we're in a car sleeping at night because we don't have nowhere to go. That's the shit that I don't like. So that's why I chose to abstain from sex, because I needed to learn myself. I needed to learn what I like, what I don't like, so that I won't tolerate fuck boys and shit like this in the future.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. To moderate. That is my duty.
Girl, you got deep, girl.
Even though the question was, you know, how you feel about dating the single parent situation, baby mama, baby daddy issues, that was a reflection that a lot of single women dating parents needed to see and needed to hear, because when it comes to baby mama issues, one is quick to hear one side of the story and have an opinion and want to, I mean, we're nurturers by nature. So when you get with someone, you want to be with them. You're a support system. So their issues become your issues. So if they're having baby mama issues, that becomes your issues. But the problem that the new woman doesn't understand is what the baby mama has been through wholly and completely prior to becoming this new baby mama. Because first she was a mother that was somehow at one point loved, because they created this life together. What happened in between that time, whatever made them split before you came into this picture, has nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. So any attitude that the baby mama might have has nothing to do with you whatsoever if it's not directed towards you, and if you have nothing to do with the children, you actually should have nothing to say. So when it comes to baby mama and baby daddy's issues, you need to know the background before you can even be a participant in the foreground. So we're gonna keep going because I want to hear some more opinions, because I can talk. I ain't even a mama though, but I can talk.
Let's say if you have a single mother in there, and all she talking about niggas ain't shit, this and that, the girl, her children, mainly her daughter's gonna start thinking that. And just like if you have a single father, he can do the same thing. The son's gonna start thinking that. It's because some single parents' houses, single parents are the ones who have a lot of hate towards their baby mothers or fathers, so they portray that to their child, and that child grow up thinking like that. So when the child grows up, man or woman, and they see someone who's genuine and want to come near them, they back off because they don't know if you're real, or they don't know if you have some kind of motive because they grew up with that. not trusting nobody.
I do believe that's one aspect, but I grew up in a single parent household, and like I have another aspect where like it made me a better father. Like I'm in my kids' life. I don't even see how my father wasn't in my life. But at the same time, like I feel like it forced my mom to have to play both roles. Like she tried to be the mom and the dad, and at times, like even now, I got to tell my mom, like, look, mom, like I live in LA now. I don't see you every day. Like my mom talk to me like I'm right around the corner. I come back home, she like, boy, what you doing? It's like, come on, mom, like embrace me. Like I haven't seen you in a while. Like be my mother, but she doesn't know how to do that because she's had to play both roles while I was gone.
Is this just for the guys?
This is why they make me.
I think so. Oh, so everybody.
For everybody, whoever want to chime in.
okay.
Ladies, you chime in too. Want to get the ladies' perspective?
Well, I kind of like grew up with both parts of the spectrum. Like my mom and my father split up when I was young, but they were still like friends. But then he didn't really like play a big role into my life. But she never spoke negatively about him. You know, she always uplifted him, and just, you know, he just was always having a hard time, should I say, growing up. But I didn't know that as a young child. But as an adult, I feel like it really helped me because I wasn't bitter. I didn't grow up like, oh, niggas ain't shit. You feel me? Like I didn't grow up in that type of aspect. Like 2-parent households are not. They don't always, should I say, make the best children. It doesn't matter. I feel like I was. My mom, being the only single parent, she wasn't bitter, she wasn't hateful, she wasn't negative. She had to play both roles at times, but at the end of the day, I feel like it made me a better woman because I understand that not all men are not in their children's life because they don't want to be necessarily, but that's a hard pill to swallow, So at the end of the day, it can go either way. You can either come out of the situation and be excellent, and be bitter, or vice versa, hate men or hate women. So in my case, I feel like it wasn't such a bad situation to be in, you know what I mean? And the stigma as far as like single parent households is really, really negative, especially in the African American community. And not every household is like that.
And some people could get caught up like in the statistic because you grow up saying like, oh, you don't want to be another statistic. So some people are in situations with the people they have kids with because they don't want to be a statistic.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's even worse. I think that sometimes rejection can be God's protection because neither one of my parents my biological parents was in my life, and I could say that I'm kind of glad they weren't. Because the mentality that they had, I'd have been just as screwed up as they were. Mm-hmm. So it was like the best thing they did for me was give me up. You know what I mean? But that doesn't work for everybody. So I think that, pain is how you interpret it. Like if I interpret it like, damn, they left me. You know what I mean? Then I'd be all messed up. But now I look at it as they leaving me made me better. You know what I mean? So I have no pain. You know what I mean? So it's like how you interpret your perception is your reality. How you perceive it is what it's going to be. So if you perceive that you took an L, you took an L. You know what I mean? But if you look at it as you rose from it, you rose from it. You know what I mean?
You said something good about knowing the background. Like, I don't have any kids and my boyfriend doesn't have any kids. But before dating my boyfriend, I would be, dealing with people who had kids. And you have to understand that the reflection of a man, like the relationship he has with his kids says way more than it should say about anything. Like if I talk to you and like you say, yeah, I have a son, okay, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. How often do you see your son? Why are you and the baby mama not together? Because that alone can tell me if this is something that I want to continue. Because what you shouldn't want to do as a woman is to step into something that's already broken, because how can he be a proper father to your child and or a proper woman to you, man to you, if he can't be one to his child? Like, why are you with me every night but your baby lived down the street and you only see the baby once or so often? And you also as a woman have to have the maturity to know that if you step into a man's life who already has a kid, you are now grounds to be cordial with the mother. Y'all gotta talk. Y'all have to be in agreement some way. Definitely think coming from a single parent household affects you in your dating life. That could be negative or it could be positive. I'm a product of a single parent home, and I think that it really motivated me to make sure that I didn't go down that path. I think I came out perfectly fine and that my mom didn't
an amazing job. I don't think that that lessens your experience as a child, or that it, you know, ultimately defines who you are, but it will sway you either one direction or the other. There are some people who come from single parent households who don't believe in love, but I am a person who comes from a single parent household, and it's kind of always been like a fantasy or a dream, something that I've never had that I now have the power to create.
I feel like there's a lot of people lost. I feel like there's a lot of people putting up with things that they normally wouldn't put up with. But times are changing. Rent is higher. Bills, the cost of living is higher. So you have a lot of people that are in relationships that don't really love each other and don't want to be there. They're just roommates.
I guess in my situation, you know, as I said earlier, I am divorced, and I'm currently raising my 3 children by myself. You know, at some point you have to get to the point where it's not necessarily about not being a statistic. You know, I come from, both my parents are from Jamaica, so if anybody knows about that, you know. And they've been married, this month will make 34 years? 35 years. So now, come me, I now became the statistic. I was the black sheep, because, you know, I had the baby early, I had the, you know, the baby at a wedlock, I was, you know, married young, and then got divorced. But, you know, for those that are on the outside looking in, they just see, okay, she, you know, fulfilled those statistics. But on the inside, it was, do I stay in this very tumultuous marriage? Or do I, you know, break that off? Do I escape with my children, per se, and give them a chance of having a better future, you know? And that's what it boiled down to at the end of the day. I didn't want my boys seeing my ex putting hands on me. I didn't want my daughter thinking that type of behavior was okay. I didn't want, you know, any of that. You know, I come from a very, very different background than my ex. And so to me it was, I know that at the end of the day, my boys, you know, focusing on my boys for a second, had a better chance at being successful looking at men like my father versus their father to become something. Because, you know, like my daddy, you know, he has like 8th grade education, you know, came to this country, and did it big, you know, got everything, got what needed to be done. I would rather them see that. You know, my daddy's in his 60s now, and he will never take a day off work. I can call him now and say, I need this or I need that. He's on his way. No problem, you know. That's somebody I would rather my boys be around and see that than say my ex who, you know, was fired, refused to get another job, around, he this and that. You know, everything was a fight. Why? Why are you fighting me? Why keep the kids in that type of tumultuous relationship? Why? When every day they're hearing banging on the walls and screaming, and why? What was the point of that? So, you know, after stepping out of that, you know, a lot of times people in your lives can be your blessing blockers. And I didn't realize at the time that why so many things seem to be going wrong until the moment that day came, and it was like, oh, I could have done this on myself a long time ago. Wow. You know, and it's like I have my cars, I have my houses, I have my properties, I have my kids, and we're good. We're good. People see my kids, they'll say, oh my God, your kids are so wonderful, your kids are so nice. I'm like, you know, because somebody thinking I'm my parents. But when I can look at other people that are in 2-parent households, or have, you know, multiple other ways, or, you know, more stuff than this, or they make things look better, their kids can't level up. They can't match to mine. They're not matching up to mine. I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And they're all on top of their classes, they're all extracurricular activities. You know, things cost money. My kids play sports year-round, all 3 of them. And they're just completely well-rounded. They don't talk about my stuff. They're happy. They'll go chill with my dad. Oh, can we call Papa? Yeah, go. And they go about their day. You know, so I think when it comes to single, it's a stigmatism. You know, it has always been portrayed as being a negative thing. But not all of us are bad mothers. It's not always a bad situation because we're a single parent household, because the other situation, the latter, was so many times worse. You know, so give your kids a chance.
Yeah, I grew up in a single parent home as well. My mom took care of me and my brother. She was married once, and then she had me. She wasn't married. My mom didn't want to be married after that. She taught me to be like super independent, and she actually taught me to not accept things from men. She taught me that the more they want to give to you without knowing you like that is they expect something from you. So I was kind of like I was really like hard to get, like for a long time. And I'm still like that. I'm in a relationship now, but that's how I was. And my boyfriend now, he tried to, like, since 2008, he liked me. He tried to get at me, but I was like, no. I was in a relationship, but when I finally did get in a relationship, I'll say this is high school. I had a boyfriend who like gave me everything, did exactly what my mom told me not to do. He was showering me with gifts at like only my senior year of high school. It went into college. I was giving the gifts, and I'm like, this guy thinks he owns me, you know, like, so when I finally, it was really hard to break up due to like various reasons, stuff like that, but it was really hard. So after that, I'm like, I can't do that anymore. So now it's kind of like, I'm looking at my mom, I've seen her date, and I've seen the relationships fail. And I mean, my mom might be kind of crazy, maybe sometimes, like all women can be, but I think she's one of the smartest people I know. And she's made sure that both her kids had a really good education. So for me, it's like, I see men and I know they might compliment me just like they do every woman. I know what they want. They can look at me for 2 seconds and I know that they're gonna try to holler at me, you know? And so like I don't focus on that, you know? I'm like, let me finally get to know somebody and stuff like that. I don't have to give everybody a chance. So I think my mom just really instilled in me really well, but when it comes to dating, that was hard. And then comparing to my father wasn't in my life that much. He comes around, just buys me Jordans, you know? My mom was a breadwinner. He bought me clothes, you know, every now and again, he'll pop up. But my personality is just like my father. I'm an Aries, my father's an Aries. He planned it that way. My little sister's an Aries, you know? So my personality is just like him, the way we laugh, some of the things when I lash out with my mom when we argue. And so for me growing up, it was, you're just like your dad. How are you saying I'm just like somebody who I don't even see all the time? So that was frustrating for me in a single parent home, is being compared to my father, someone that my mom looked at negatively and stuff like that. So I just kind of, when I grew up, it was kind of like, you know what, you don't really know until you get a certain age or until you become more conscious that what really happened in your parents' relationship. You're never gonna know everything, and at the end of the day, they're still your parents. Whether your dad did wrong or your mom did wrong, you have to see both sides, and then you have to forgive, and you have to, if you want a relationship, you have to look past that, and that's your own relationship. So I think a lot of
Okay, so you approach the female. You approach the female, okay, wanting to date her, and then you want her to compromise and adjust to you, like she should lower her standards.
To the partnership. That's a beautiful compromise.
So what if he's like Urkel, but you're trying to Stefan him? Is that him being Urkel? You want him to compromise with Urkel, but you can't compromise with
I ain't gonna lie, but the thing is, a lot of women have done that and have done it to the wrong person. That's what it is. Women are bad characters.
Yep.
I say y'all bad judging characters. I ain't saying, because y'all not judging the man on his character, y'all judging him on his exterior, y'all judging on what he got, and what he look like, y'all judging on the type of man he is.
Until he get older, until he get the church.
You know what I mean? I take service over substance.
That's what it is. I think there's another factor. There's the fact that you want a man that looks like he can protect you. So if some
look or can protect you. Looks can protect you.
But how can if you beat your ass, sometimes you need protection from that nigga. Like, it be the same.
Some girls may think, okay, he can't take care of me the way that I think. They have all of this in their head due to whatever, and so they may not give that guy a chance because of that. So they sometimes tell the little.
So whose fault is that she chose to date him?
She has to compromise.
Exactly what I'm saying. You guys, not you guys. I'm not saying you. But I'm just saying people have to work harder. That's just how things are. You have to work for what you want. And
that's kind of my thing.
That's how it is.
See, but then when you work for what you want, and then they still want you, so it's like fuck.
There's somebody for everybody.
I have to be by myself.
Don't blow it off what she's saying. Like, this is what she's saying. Or him, if he say he don't like this, don't be like, oh, you ain't my daddy, you ain't my, we married. Like, what? But then when he leave, then it's like, fuck all men. No, you gotta, sometimes as you point a finger, you got 4 pointing back saying, well, you know, if you would listen to each other and take, because everybody not gonna think the same. Y'all, if you in a relationship, it's him and her. She thinks differently, he thinks differently. What she say she don't like, okay, all right, I might not agree with it, but because it bothers you, I'm gonna appease you. Or if you want me to do this for you sexually, or if you want me to do this for you financially, if you want me to do this, either or it's not a gender thing. It's a listening to each other and accepting that our differences can be our strengths, not our weaknesses. And if you don't listen to the person for the small things, they gonna resent you for it later and attack you in a way that you ain't gonna never see coming. My feelings don't matter. I'm being sensitive. Well, I got something for that ass. It's always how it goes. So it's really about being humble and taking what the person feel and really taking it that seriously. And that's all I have to say.
You gotta listen too. That's my. I ain't gonna tell you how many times. How many?
Don't listen at all.
Hey, shit. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But no, I mean, I can't tell you how many fights I got into because I don't listen. But you gotta listen. You gotta listen.
I don't gotta yell yet.
Right. I'm learning to listen every day.
Try to pretend like you're listening. Like,
Nah, I did that too.
Guys, I have a question for all of us. Does anyone think that you should compromise in a relationship?
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I think so.
I don't think you should have to compromise.
Wait, time out. Listen, no.
He said he don't believe in compromise either.
You don't need to. If you're compromising, why are you together?
Exactly. All right, so okay. Let me say something.
I think it depends. What are we compromising?
Like I said earlier, I like sushi.
How you have a relationship without compromise?
I don't know if you like sushi or not.
Whoa.
But if I'm gonna be with you, I have to neglect the fact that I love sushi because you don't want to eat sushi.
I'm allergic to fish. No.
Okay, that's my compromise.
That's not a compromise.
Real quick, I won't have it.
But that's not a compromise.
I'll have to go off and get sushi on my own.
Compromise. You gonna meet another girl when you get sushi?
It's about. I'm trying to hear somebody.
Really quick.
Let me get one person who wants to answer. Who wants
I want to hear what she got to say.
It's about compromise. It's about not compromising who you are, what you believe in, to your core. There are a lot of surface things that you're gonna have to compromise. But who you are inside to your core should never be changed.
I can say that every time I want to compromise. I can say that every time I want to compromise. I'm not gonna change myself.
That's called maturity. It's called maturity.
No,
that's called maturity.
How many people are mature nowadays in 2017?
Not
very many. Not very many.
That's the problem.
Everybody's already together.
Yeah.
Okay, really quick. Okay, just because, really quick example. My girlfriend's a vegetarian. I am a meatitarian. But you know, so it's like every day, whenever like I'm like, hey, what you want to eat? You know, how many times? Let's be real. How many places can you go to that are pro meat and pro vegetarian? So
everywhere you can get salad.
You ain't the salad. You get so good. You eat salad every day. But for example, I have been recently going to Veggie Grill, and it's really good.
It's good.
It's really good. It's really good. So it's, you know, as far as compromising like that, I understand, but again, going off of what you said, is there are some things that you can't compromise.
Like your character.
Right, like your character.
We all need to set standards for ourselves so we don't end up with a short stick.
Right, exactly. And when you say standards, then that means like the compromising and the settling.
Realistic standards.
And if I be by myself, then it's okay, because you know what? Because if I end up compromising,
But are you really by yourself if you got somebody laying it down?
I don't want you going through life like that. You cannot think whoever did that to you, you need to
I'm an exhale, girl.
get some this start praying, because no, every man is not going to be like that. You know what I mean? You'll still find yourself compromising when you expect to.
Yeah, baby girl. Rejoice in the journey.
Sometimes you like that. You can block your blessings that way.
Yeah, that's real.
Stop thinking about compromising like, I don't want to compromise. No. It's a team effort. And if you see the other person is not doing that to, you know, fulfill your needs as a woman, as his girlfriend, as his wife, fiance, whatever you guys are, then turn around and keep on running. You feel me? Like, you can't waste time. But you're gonna block your blessings thinking, I don't wanna compromise, I don't care about being alone. Like, you don't deserve to be alone.
let's watch it because she's still in the subject. So I don't really put the icing. I want to put the icing on the cake, but she's still there. So let's watch that shit right. Listen, love straight up is long distance, longevity, that 38, 60 year. That's it. A person told me that a long time ago. All this shit we think we got ain't love. When you've been through all that trials and tribulation, that's love. So how can you get there without compromise?
Because the person that's for you may not agree with everything about you, but they wouldn't want to change a thing.
That's it, girl. That's it. They won't change who you are. They'll love who you are.
It's
but don't we live in a society where everybody's trying to change who they are to accept them for their peers and stuff?
He hit
the point right there. He hit it right there.
To be the devil's advocate on that.
I'm changing, goddamn.
To be the devil's advocate on that, compromise or change per se. I understand the whole unconditional love, because love is unconditional. If I love this person, I love them wholly and completely. But when I love this person unconditionally, I want them to be the best them they are. So when I want change, it isn't me wanting them to change, but I want them to be the best them that they can be. And if that requires some editing in their life, God damn it, you need to change some shit. So it might not be that I want you to change for me. I want you to change for you. So you kind of have to go with the flow. I mean, we're all gonna grow.
But you said you're not saying that you want them to change themselves. You're saying that you want them to change the things that they
enhance them, but you don't want to change them.
That's what I'm saying. I agree with
the core. That's still gonna be the same.
I totally agree.
The real question is though, can a woman in this day and age trust the man that they're with to lead them to some degree?
Hell no.
No.
See, that's a problem. Oh, hell no. The man gotta be the leader. The man has got to be the leader. He is the leader. She can protect him. If she can't protect him, and if she fights, she cannot be the leader. Ain't no damn way. Ain't nobody ever let him lead me. If she can't protect him, right?
Why should I put myself in a situation where I gotta struggle with somebody?
That's how you make a diamond. You know what? So you say you rather wait at the finish line for him to get his riches instead of running the race. Give him the water bottle. You want to wait at the finish line? Hey, baby.
Water bottle.
Maybe. Of course. See, that's that princess royalty.
That's what I am. So like, I'm just like, why should I have to lure myself to somebody? If you a king,
then you should be doing it.
I think the definition is off about lowering yourself. But the thing is, your core is like I want to be cake, but because that's what you believe and that's what you grew up with. But compromising can be things like physical, things that can easily change. You can compromise on you want to go here, no, let's go here, like little things like that, but not compromising your core beliefs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not compromising. I believe in this, but I don't.
No. I'm willing to try new things as far as like, let's go to this restaurant, let's do this little things like that. I'm okay with compromising.
That's a start.
But for me to like, okay, let's go live in this shack together. I'm not saying I'm not doing.
But what if he believes in him strongly?
And then
I got a house. Like I mean,
so why can't the ladies build with the man though? Because like I said, Michelle didn't get with Barack when he was president. She got with him when he was talking about being president. He was trying to be a Senate. And she's like, she wasn't his type.
Actually,
he was friend zone.
She was working for him.
But he was friend zone.
Yeah, he was friend zone.
And sitting here, but instead you hear people talk about Quavo and Cardi B and Kim and Kanye more than you see of Michelle Barack. It's like, do you really want love or you want the cool love with everybody idols?
That's not even love.
No, I want the love when I don't have to say shit. And my wife knows exactly what the hell I'm thinking.
There's always that level of respect that everyone should have for their partners in a relationship. I know that whatever man I get with is my protector, my provider, he's my
Sorry.
No, he's my protector.
But if man is king and God is
I'm a see. Hold on.
Hold on, my step. Hold on, step in the word. God, man, woman, child.
My paychecks can pay all the if I make more money than my man.
Why does a black woman have a problem with submissiveness?
Because you can't have
That's how I feel.
As a woman under sovereignty, describe herself as a king.
How can she be a queen?
Wait, I want to answer too. I want to answer.
You're a king. How can she be a queen if she don't submit to a queen? She don't want no king. She want the court jacket. She want the court jacket. She want it as a queen.
All right.
She want to really.
You started this.
She want a fuckboy for real.
But see,
she don't want a king.
She knows. She wants somebody she can control, talk shit about.
That's a fuckboy. That's a fuckboy.
Here's the thing. Any real man will set it.
No, that real man stuff. Don't worry. That's a compliment. Because I can say real woman everything. All right, real woman gonna fuck me when she wants to. Real woman gonna give me money. A real woman gonna fuck my friends. She gonna fuck my friends for money. A real woman gonna fuck my friends for money too.
She's in a relationship, but I'm trying to be like her. Shut up and let that talk.
So, yeah. Okay, so these are our panelists. We're rounding it up. We're getting towards the end of this very colorful discussion with these very lovely, intelligent, and, for lack of better words, colorful people. We've talked about a lot of single topics, broken homes, and stuff like that. I want to get back to the positivity part, the connected part, the love. We're all looking for love. That's the whole purpose of the love game. And I thought in life we're supposed to have someone that, we create life and love, and maybe that's me. Anyways, so when you do find love, for those who have found or are now currently in love, how do you maintain that? How do you keep that strong relationship? We know how easy it is to let things go and run away. How do you fight
listen to
adversity?
music from the 60s and the 70s.
Motown.
You listen to that right there.
There are the messages in the music.
Music from the past 15 years, don't listen to it.
Yep.
All it does is teaches us to divide against one another, to be in competition with one another, to oppress each other, to destruct one another. Music from the 60s and 70s is about peace, love, and unity. It's about faithfulness, it's about loyalty. It's about stability, and it's also about, oh, you mad at me? Just go in the next room and kick it for the next 10 minutes. And when you remember why you love me, come back downstairs and let's kick it.
I hate to pop a beautiful balloon you just blew up, but I'm sorry, but it's a thin line between love and hate. Ain't that grits balls with the beating him with the pen? What the hell? That's not. No, that's lemonade. That's lemonade.
That's just one song, though.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, that's a great example. I do agree that
There's also Let's Straighten It Out by Lattimore.
the media today does play an effect on our relationships. Lewis, then Nikki, then
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nikki don't have
Lewis,
nothing to say. Nikki has two cats. Nikki don't have a relationship.
The way you keep dating your spouse or whoever, just keep dating them. Things will change, things will come up, but you always try to go back to dating them. When I was married, me and my wife, we had a date every Thursday. No matter what happened, we have a date every Thursday. We never go to sleep mad. We always touch each other while we're sleeping, And so I think that keeps the relationship fresh. And you just have to listen a lot. Women talk a lot, and they will always tell you. They will always tell you. They may not tell you straight up, but they will tell you. You just gotta listen to what they're telling you.
Amen,
and
brother.
You'll be okay.
What made you decide to tie the knot?
Man, I'm a godly person. I'm a spiritual person. I had dreams about getting married and making things right with the mother of my two children. The mother of my two children split. We broke apart, and it was a breakup that was needed because it taught me how to appreciate her. It made me realize that maybe the reason why we weren't elevating and getting to the place in our relationship that we would like to is because we hadn't taken that next
So,
step.
it was maybe about like 6 months before I was about to propose. I was tested sexually. And I mean, I was already in a relationship, so it's like I kind of made the decision of the choice of who I wanted to be with. You know, it's like my life could really be a whole different thing now if I would have, you know, did what I made, the choice that I made, and chose the other woman that I was, you know, who was on the, you know, we were on the same level. But then I chose like to not ultimately betray my best friend. So you gotta have that whole friendship thing, even though she gets on my damn nerves from time to time, as vice versa, whatever. You gotta be comfortable with that. You gotta be cool with that.
Know
you
that
gotta
you're
know
gonna
that,
hurt each
that you're
other.
gonna be good, like, because somebody might make you work harder than you really want to. So it's like I don't really have to. I work hard, but I don't really have to work that hard. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know. So it's all relative. You know, it's all relative. So now, which brings us to the point of
little man, let me hold him. Yeah.
Being married and having one of 7 kids already. And,
yeah, we want a big family.
Yeah.
But that's what I was gonna say. In a relationship, you have to be willing to be 100% open and honest. Like, we literally have really tough conversations all the time, and it doesn't just stop at one
sometimes
conversation.
Somebody not gonna like it.
Yeah, and sometimes you're not gonna like it because they're still a different person than you, and I think you just have to accept the fact that it's 2 people living life together.
I think men need to have more self-respect for themselves. Like my granddaddy always used to tell me, now son, only kill what you can carry. So I would never date a chick who's kind of out of my weight class, as they say. and a lot of black men seem like, well, I mean, I got my girl, she's looking like Shrek, and I'm like, dog. Cause then anybody walking around seeing that guy will be like, maybe I need to get me a big girl too. But I'm like, this is the land of the 8s and 9s. You can't be walking around with a 4, 2.5, 3 and a possible. I'm like,
this ain't spades.
Exactly. This ain't spades. This the love game. There you go.
It just depends. You know, I think it depends a lot on your walk with God at the end of the day. You see a lot of relationships that don't last. I've been in every type of relationship that you've been on or that you could be in. And looking back at them, you know, they were all a blessing because you learn something, you take something from each relationship. And I look back on it and thought, man, if my walk would have been stronger, would I still would have been with that person? I think in today's day and age, it's a lot of people, you know, maybe putting in 20% here, 70% here, instead of giving that significant other your full 100% and then meeting at 50% halfway. And you know, there's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times. And I think it's very important to be able to reach out to that person, to have them as your number one support system to help lift you up.
But I think a lot of women are just very expressive, and guys can take it the wrong way, and they just shut themselves out. Oh, she's just being a woman, she's whatever. So they don't want to cater to her needs or really find out what's the issue. So a lot of times I think relationships fail because he's a man and he's trying to play that role, but he doesn't want to, like you're saying, the emotional side, or just even, maybe it's a hug your girl needs or something like that, or just something extra. Think about how your mom, men should think about, how does your mom treat you? She was there for you all the time.
If it's messed up,
you
he might relate to you that way. If that relationship was.
Then when dudes do it too much, they consider it a punk.
See?
If you too much, like, all right, baby, you know, man, that's cuddle. You express your emotions.
But a lot of men don't I guess soft like that is where
because ladies don't respect the soft.
Right. Now be all hard. And then you have to be soft too.
From the bad boy.
There's a time and place.
You want me to be a light switch?
Yes. You want us to be a light switch? You be a light switch.
Be like, whatever you do with your guy friends, that's on you. But when you come home to me, you need to let that wall down.
But what if he didn't have that wall to begin with? You can't make somebody have that wall.
That's
some
what.
type of thing.
Relationship and trust is built over time. It's not gonna happen in one day.
It's that compromise.
All right. if a guy doesn't want to be emotional or talk about his feelings, then just step away. He's gonna come to you when he's ready.
When you asked me earlier about different types of love, I don't think people actually experience real love, unconditional love, the love that drives you crazy, but you rather sit there with that person driving you crazy than go and look for something else. The love that makes you have a conversation that you don't ever want to have. The hard conversations. The conversations that make you turn and go, if we don't fix this now, in 10 years, it's going to be a problem. If we don't talk about the small thing in a month, we're going to be yelling about something that could just put the toilet seat down. Why? Because when I wake up and I don't turn the light on. I sit down and go to the bathroom because that's what I do. And at the end of the day, he does that for me. Not because he has to. It's not about making one person feel more obligated to take care of the other person. It's about two people being 100% themselves. I do not have to do anything but be me every day. When I'm with my husband, I don't care if my guy friend from when I was 9 years old or from college or that I met yesterday is sitting on the side of me. I'm going to be the same person they met. But that's because I'm with someone who does not make me feel bad for being me. And so in return, I give that to him. So when I hear people say, my man can't be friends with his ex, why? What's the difference? If he can't be friends with her because of what you think they're gonna do, what's the difference between him being friends with her or somebody he's gonna meet on the job? What's the difference? But because people don't communicate, people feel like they have to hide. And once you start hiding, then you start sneaking. Once you start sneaking, something that you never even thought was going to become an issue becomes an issue because you feel like you're doing something wrong. Even if you started out with it being innocent.
I'm in love very, very much. And let me just tell you, it has been a path to get here. So I've been in almost every shoe up here. So to be in this place where I can proudly say I'm 2 years in a very happy relationship, I'd be like, wow, never thought I'd see the damn day. But I say how you stay in love is what he said. Like, you keep dating each other, you keep it fun, but most importantly, like, you communicate with each other, and like, you have to be super understanding. Sometimes we have a lot of expectations on somebody, and you have to look at your own flaws and be like, damn, I do be fucking up too. So, you know, like, let me understand him here. And that doesn't mean like let things slide, but that means have an understanding heart and know that when you're in a relationship with a person, it's difficult because things can often be misinterpreted. Like, something that's really offensive to me could have meant absolutely nothing, but that's something that you guys talk about. And one thing in my relationship that really helps us is, like, no matter how small it is, we talk about it, because one thing small that you blow off later becomes something bigger and something bigger, and now you talking about something that happened 6 months ago, and they're like, well, why didn't you tell me that? And now you have gotten in a pattern because you're so upset about that. And I don't trip about pretty much, like, I don't really trip about anything, but if something bothers me, I'll be like, babe, now you know you should have, you know, something like that. So just being honest, like, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when you're scared, just be like, keep it 100 always, because you can't build anything on a lie, but you can grow from the truth, and you can, like, learn from that.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I also had to get married when I was ready. I think my wife probably been ready to get married since probably the day we met. But I think it's different for men. Men mature slower than women. Men are sort of caught up in what's going on around them. I was caught up in wanting to be exactly where I needed to be in my career so that I could provide. And I had to humble myself, and I had to put my pride to the side. Granted, my wife make more money than me, straight up. My wife makes more money than me, but I had to realize that she wasn't with me so that I can necessarily take care of her or pay all the bills. She's with me for me. And once you find that person's that, you know, is with you for you, shit, you can, you know, get through anything together.
I remember a conversation I was in at an acting workshop, and afterwards there was a couple of ladies and I having a conversation, and this whole thing came up. And my thoughts at that time were, women are always talking about what they're looking for and who's not right and who's not good enough and who's got this wrong with them. But what we sometimes fail to do is understand that while we're out there searching and critiquing our shopping list, so are the men. So before we criticize what's in the store that we're shopping in, we have to make sure that we're quality fruit ourselves. We have to make sure that we are someone that another person would want to fall in stride and walk the rest of their life with. We have to make sure that we have the qualities and the character and the affection and the understanding and the ability to forgive to offer someone else, and that will attract that person even better to us.
And she had a good point, because as of the time of this taping, we're going to our 27th year of marriage. But when we were dating, and I was still dating around and stuff, but we first met, and I kind of met her, and I was kind of getting interested. I said, what do you want? What do you want in life? And she said, I want to be a good wife. At first, that blew me away, because the first answer that came out of her mouth was, I want to be a good wife. Now, I wasn't thinking marriage at the time, but I said, wait, she places a lot of value on being a good wife. If I want to be with this young lady, I better get my act together, because she's looking for a husband. And am I giving her the impression of what a good husband could be by the way I'm behaving right now? So just hearing that as her goal made me say, now, I don't want to waste her time, because she's looking for a husband. Am I just playing around in this relationship, or am I serious? And that helped me understand the focus of our relationship, and that's...
What part of you made you feel, because you mentioned that she said she wanted a good wife instead of just, because a lot of times when we can say, I just want to be a wife.
Right.
So, you threw the good wife in there. Is that what probably stood out?
That placed the importance of what that goal is in her life, to do whatever it needs to be a good wife, which means whoever she's looking for should be equally seeking the goal of being a good husband. So that made me understand she's taking this
not serious. Just a husband.
Yeah, this is not just somebody just playing around. She's looking for a solid marriage, a good relationship, and all the things that come with that. So that made me say, well, look, now if I'm going to continue this, I need to sit back a minute and look, are you ready for this relationship? That's why I said earlier, you have to be ready to settle down. If you're not ready to settle down, don't waste the other person's time who's looking for a permanent relationship. Don't waste their time. You're playing, and they're looking for a solid relationship.
Any advice to the ladies, people who trying to get this some fulfilling?
Well, ladies, I'm on Tinder. No, I'm not, because I don't have time for that shit. So, once again, bring something to the table. That's all I gotta say. Bring something to the table. Whether it's your mama's casserole, whether it's a bank loan, whether it's, love and affection, bring something to the table. Don't expect a man to just be there to take care of all you need. Like, if you ask me to pay for your cell phone, check please. I'm walking out the door. Because if you can't do that for yourself, why do you expect somebody else to do it?
That's what I was assuming that she was asking. Because I mean, me personally, if we're not in a relationship, you're not. It's not happening.
Okay.
My pussy and my mouth are the goddamn same bitch. I want to suck the dick, I'm sucking the goddamn dick when I want to suck it. Let me tell you something. I take pride in giving. My name is attached to this shit. Everything I do, I put my heart and my all into it. I'm sucking the dick, I'm sucking the skin off that dick. I promise you, nephew and leave, you will tell. Let me tell you, my dick can save marriages. It has saved lives. It has saved wives, bitch. It has got diamond rings. The bitches that I don't even give a fuck about. I'm telling your man calling my house. So I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach your man how to teach you how to suck it the right way, so you can leave it alone. I'm telling you that sucking dick is imperative. And a lot of bitches lose their man because they don't suck the dick right away.
Girl.
First day, last day, in the middle days, I'm passionate about it. That's it. I was suck. Okay, I was a virgin. I was 19. I started sucking dick when I was like 12. I sucked dick in her way. Bitch, I was. If I want to do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Period. I don't think it's any tip, but I'm a woman who's 1,000% confident in who I am and what I do, and so I know my stuff, know my worth. I'm not a hoe because I sucked your dick today. I just want to take it today. I'm a slut and every right. But I'm very picky when I do it too. So if I do 3 dicks a year, bitch, guess what I'm doing? 3 good damn dicks a year. I don't think there's any numbers or any 30 days, you be a hoe, bitch. Hoe for me, check for me, hoe. But guess what? These days, hoes is winning. And so I'm gonna be winning too, bitch. What you wanna do? I'm fraud, what I'm gonna do?
Any advice for people who trying to get to and have that nice, genuine love that could be everlasting? Any advice to them?
Yeah, my advice is not to argue. One of the things I like to do is I like to go out to eat with my wife, and I'll write things down in my phone that I want to discuss. And we discuss them in a public place so that we don't get loud with each other. We don't put on a scene in front of everybody. And for two, so that our kids don't know our business. I grew up in a household where my mother and my stepdad argued. And to this day, it stuck with me. And I realized that, I was only 8, 9, 10 years old. So I try to keep grown folks' business, treat my wife with respect. And I always try to remember when I met her, I was a friend first. So I never try to feel like, okay, we're comfortable, now I can say what I want to you. I try and give her that same respect as if, I was still trying to impress her and date her.
I've been in a relationship for about 4 years now. And congratulations. And I'm the last person to tell you it's perfect. It's hard, but it's like she said, it's work. You gotta work with it. You gotta work at it. It's about learning each other it's about learning each other every day, growing together. Laughing. It's having fun. It's like it's more so of you gotta treat her like a companion versus as like a girlfriend. It's kind of cliche, but it's someone that you can confide in. Like who knows fucking your flaws, who knows everything that you've been through, who knows and on the other side of that, her flaws and on the on the other side. But I feel like you have to be patient and continue to grow together, and at the end of the day, find out, when it comes down to it, you might be pissed off at each other, angry, but you hark back to like what brought you guys to 4 years or 2 years, or what made you fall for that person in the first place, and you'll be good. That's pretty much my
and like the patience thing is so big, and like I'm a huge lover of God, and I always tell myself, if God can forgive me that many times, I'm pretty sure that I can forgive my boyfriend. It's okay. God forgives us like daily, and it's a lot of us. And he don't have to.
Girl, he don't. Cause I be doing him like God. I'm done. I know you done with me. I know you done with me today. When I wake up next morning, I'm like, good, we still cool. Try again today, see what.
I think that the advice that I would give anyone who is truly looking for love, like for real looking for love, is to first figure out what love looks like for you. What makes you happy? What are your deal breakers? And when I say deal breakers, once you get married, and this is just my perspective, once you get married, there should be no deal breakers except for mental and physical harm. I would like to think, God forbid, if my husband cheated on me, that I would be able to get over it, because that's my husband, and that's what I signed up for, to love him, good and bad. It's not ideal, and a lot of women have a problem with, I've said this before, and a lot of women have a problem with it, but it goes both ways, men. If your woman step out, but you have to know what your deal breakers are. And if your deal breakers, if you have a longer list than I do, that's okay, but you have to know them, and then you have to stick with them, and then it's up to you to communicate that to the person you're with. I don't know how to say, or how many times I have to tell someone, how do you expect someone to fix something or to be something that you want them to be if they don't know? So you have to communicate with people, and you can't sit up and just pull stuff out of the thin air and be like, no, you should have known this. Like, no one is a mind reader. I don't care what you've been through in your past. If you don't tell me your trigger, I don't know your trigger. If you don't tell me what makes you happy, I don't know what makes you happy. If you like surprises, I need to know you like surprises. If you hate surprises, I need to know that. If your mother calling every other day is a problem, I need to know that so I can pick up the phone for you and be like, oh, he in the shower. But if I keep handing you the phone and you haven't told me that you don't want to talk to your mama, then you get off the phone with your mama, now you yelling at me. How's that my fault? Basic, simple communication. Communicate with yourself, and then trust and love yourself enough to communicate with another person. I love my husband to death, but I want him. I don't need him. He does not complete me. I was 100% when I showed up. I'll be 100% when I leave. I might be 100% in tears, but I will be 100% when I leave. Show up a whole package and give your everything. And stop bringing along your exes and your other past relationship. Leave them where they are. You left them. Everybody deserves a clean slate. Because you hate somebody get in your face and be like, well, Sally did this to me. And the first thing a female say is, well, I ain't Sally. Well, he ain't Tom. He ain't Tyrone. He ain't James. He ain't Paul. He ain't none of them. Start from the beginning. Every time. Learn every time. You'll get better every time.
Swissina, JT, Christian, Love Game Docs 2, Hollywood, signing off.